City dwellers, listen up. What if I told you that for the same price that you're paying currently in monthly rent or mortgage, you could get twice the space, a yard, parking, all 20 minutes from where you're currently living. We're gonna show you one of the hottest neighborhoods that our favorite Federal Hill residents have found and fallen in love with, where they are getting so much more bang for their buck in terms of a house. We've helped over 80 families make this move in the past year, and we're excited to tell you what all of our city dwellers have found as they move into the county.
I'm Mike Mislinski.
And I'm Kelly Schuett.
So if you are a city dweller and you're tired of the smaller closets, the parking, the traffic, and all the combustion that goes with living in and around the city, well, today we're going to go through some of the key spots in Baltimore County and Harford County and why people are moving out of the city and into those counties.
This is one of our favorite topics because we joke all the time that we just basically help people move up and down the 83 corridor. They buy their first place in Fed Hill or Canton when they are young professionals, and then as soon as baby number 2 is on the way, we get a phone call and they want more space and move to the county, and they want to know, where can we live in the county that we can still have a lifestyle, still be commutable, still have some fun? And that's where we come in, because both of us lived in the city when we were younger and both of us moved to the county. So we have a lot of experience with that personally and with a lot of our buyers.
All right, so let's talk about probably the biggest culture shock that you might have, and that's really the lifestyle shock that you're going to have. Where are you going to play kickball? Where are you going to get crushes? Where's the best bar scene? What are you going to do on the weekends? Where are you going to take your kids? Can you bring your kids to a bar? Are there breweries? We're going to go through all of that here in this video so that you can get an understanding. Look, it's a different life, but it's also a pretty awesome lifestyle as well.
The great thing about working with us is we've helped so many awesome people who are truly exceptional move to these areas. So we'll introduce you to all your good neighbors, and you guys can go to the brewery with your babies together. So first, let's start with Baltimore County. There's 3 areas that people think of, first and foremost when they think of Baltimore County. The first is going to be Towson and Timonium. These areas are very close to the northern side of the city. A lot of people move in and out of Towson, back and forth across the line. A lot of people around here went to Towson and they stayed forever. So this is a great area where you still have a lot of walkability, a lot of shopping, easy commute. It's a really familiar area if you're from the Baltimore area, especially the city. Second is going to be Catonsville, especially if you were living on that 95 side of the city. This is an easy pop over where you're going to get a lot of charming homes. You have a little bit of a historic area. You're really close to Ellicott City, and you have this beautiful main street with tons of little shops and bars and dining. So if that's something you like, you'll have a lot of access to that. The third one is going to be White Marsh, which is a little more north. You're headed towards Harford County, which we're going to talk about next, but there's great shopping, the biggest IKEA, which we all know I love. There's an avenue where they have a lot of different restaurants and shopping. In the winter, they put a cute little ice skating rink out. Definitely a place you can grab a crush during the summer. So there's a lot to offer there, and there's a ton of development. You get a lot of house for your money there because of that.
Interesting fact about White Marsh is the outdoor avenue that Kelly just talked about was actually the first outdoor mall area in Maryland.
It's really exciting, and it's still really nice. They keep updating it and bringing in great shops and restaurants.
All right, next up is Harford County. And what's really interesting about Harford County is, look, they really have a Main Street downtown area. So Baltimore County is a little bit different. It's a little bit more like spread out, whereas Bel Air has a really cute downtown. There's a brewery, there's all kinds of shops, restaurants, Vagabond, best sandwich shop around, and it gives you the ability to find some newer homes. So there actually are some newer builds going in and around that area. So if you're looking for a newer build, you're definitely going to find more newer builds in Harford County than you are in Baltimore County.
And I would say the difference between Baltimore County and Harford County is that Harford County really does have like a central hub, which would be Bel Air. And when you go out from there, it becomes more rural, and we'll touch on some of those areas, where Baltimore County has a couple of big areas where you would have different neighborhood feels. I think that it's a little more spread out.
So some of the more spread out areas that you might find in Harford County would be things like Jarrettsville, Fallston, and even Harvard Grace.
Harvard Grace is great because it has its own little charming, historic, it's a very small town. There's not a lot going on, but they do have a lot of waterfront, and they have just miles that you can ride bikes on or walk right along the water. It's very pretty, and it's a very different type of lifestyle. Another option would be Aberdeen, which brings a lot of our military folks to the area, and it's up 95. So if you need to be on and off the highway for some reason, like you go to Philadelphia or New York a lot, that's probably the most northern point of Harford County that you can go before you go into another county. So if you want to be north or you're coming here for a military base, that's a really good option for you with a lot of affordable housing. I was talking to one of my couple friends, and they just had 2 small kids, and they remind me of myself when I was that age, and they just said how nice it's been to move to Towson. They're in a really walkable neighborhood, Stoneleigh, so they're with all these other families and parents, and everybody's out walking their dogs, they're walking to Starbucks, and they just love the space that they have for their kids in their house with a yard and a fence. It's just a different lifestyle now that is a lot more convenient for them. Not that they didn't love living in the city. I think it was hard for them to leave, but now that they're there, they kind of found their new, young parent lifestyle.
I can relate to that. So a lot of my friends that have moved out of the city, their kids are getting into the age of where they're playing sports and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So all the sports fields are outside of the city. There's very seldom outside of the Under Armour facility that you'll find any of the sports fields.
Coppermine.
And Coppermine.
Yeah.
And Coppermine.
Otherwise, you're going to the county.
Yep, you're going to the county. So this is where all the fields are. So just making, the commute for all the sporting activities, it's a big time commitment, and things are actually starting up again with that right now. So
you guys know if you're moving to Maryland, your kid's playing lacrosse, so you've been warned. Thinking about relocating to Baltimore? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it all down below.
From top employers to best hospitals and a boatload of other things, all the stuff you'll need to know before making the move to in and around Baltimore. The best part, this guide is entirely free. Just click the link in the description at the top pinned comment. Hope this helps.
So let's dive into some money talk. Let's say you're paying $2,200 a month for rent in Baltimore City, which I think is probably pretty average for a 2-3 bedroom, depending on what neighborhood you're in. You could translate that into buying a $375,000 home in Baltimore County, and you'd have the same monthly payment, depending, of course, on your financials and what you're putting down. But theoretically, you could be in there for the same amount as a rental. Harford County, that number is going to be $350, and I think in those 2 areas, you're going to get a very similar home. Baltimore County and Harford, $350 to $375. You can get a really great townhome or a really great starter home, single family.
Thinking about it in another way, if you're spending about $450,000 on a house in the city, you can expect to spend that same amount and get much more land and yard for all the things and all the activities that go along with, moving up in life and moving out of the city and into the county. So you're typically going to be around your 1,800 square foot range in that price point downtown. When then you come to the county, either of the counties, you're going to be upwards of 2,200 square feet. So it's a big difference.
And it's usually a single family home. I mean, there's awesome townhome options as well with nice yards and easy parking, which is a little different than the city, but you can easily buy a single family home in any of those areas. Something that we love doing for people is running the numbers to see if you can actually keep your city home if you own it as a rental, and leveraging that rental income into your next home. So you can really start to build wealth through real estate while getting that upgrade that you're looking for, or that, move to the county that supports your current lifestyle a little bit better.
If you want more information on that, be sure to check out our videos specifically on everything about using your rental to move up.
I feel like it's an easy way for people to move to the county because you still have that city house in the back of your mind if you ever need it. You still own that house.
Right, you still go down.
So the second major concern, other than where you're going to play kickball and get your crushes, is how is my commute going to look? So from Towson to downtown, you want to go grab dinner at Atlas, you're going to be 20 to 25 minutes. White Marsh, you're about the same, 20 to 25 minutes just to the other side. And Owings Mills to downtown is gonna be about the same, 20 to 30 minutes. And there's also a metro option from Owings Mills, which we've talked about before.
In Harford County, you're gonna expect to have a little bit of a longer commute. If you're going to go right back downtown, you're gonna expect anywhere from about 30 to 40-minute commute, depending on where you're at in Harford County. If you're in the more rural areas, maybe in Fallston or Jarrettsville, it's going to hit that 50-minute mark most likely.
So if you love Canton and Fells Point and that's where you're living, I would say Two areas that I would check out would be the Towson area and the Catonsville area, or downtown Bel Air. Those are going to be very similar feelings in terms of that Main Street vibe that you're used to liking.
So if you are in Hamden now, or that little surrounding area, Remington, you're Mount Washington, you're going to want to check out either Catonsville, or if you're going to Harford County, you're going to check out Havre de Grace. Those two are going to be, somewhat similar, a little quirky.
Artsy, really fun, cool vibes.
Right.
The neighborhood we promised you, where people are flocking to from the city, places like Fed Hill, is actually Perry Hall, surprisingly. You get a ton of house for your money. You're right by the Avenue and White Marsh that we talked about, and you're so commutable right back downtown. So people are loving that area. It's just right up 95, and it's a really good option for families that want a little more space to spread out. If you're visiting Baltimore County for the first time, maybe you're not from here, or if you've decided, hey, I'm gonna go north and see what's up there for me before I move there, I want you to check out the over 120 restaurants and bars that the Towson area has to offer. I want you to check out some of the cool outdoor spaces like Soldier's Delight in Owings Mills, Oregon Ridge in Hunt Valley, the Reservoir in the Towson Timonium area. There's so many great places to get outside, so I'd want you to check that out. And then I think it's really cool to check out Towson Town Center. It's an awesome mall. If you have tweens, they're gonna love it. Same thing with Hunt Valley, the outdoor town center. They've got music on Friday nights. There's just a lot of different things that you can enjoy as a growing family if that's your reason for moving to the county, or if you're just looking for some more space. There are those spaces where you can kind of get outside and explore a little bit more. Hey guys, it's Kelly. I'm here with Mike as well. And as much as I love making these videos, there's one thing I love even more, and that's helping families and people from all across the country make a move here to Baltimore. I moved here about 20 years ago, and I've never looked back. I love helping countless families make the move as well. So whether you're coming out next week, next month, or even next year, don't hesitate to reach out. My contact information is right here on the screen, and I've linked the description in case you missed the on-screen pop-up. Look forward to helping you and your family make the move to Baltimore.
And then if you're looking to go into the Harford County side, there's restaurants and local shops that do a lot of the farm to table type of thing, and that's going to even rival some of the things that we have downtown, like Woodbury Kitchen. So, and let's not forget the waterfront access up and down the coastline on the side of Harford County. There's always that. So if you're a water person downtown in Canton or in Fells Point, hey, you're not going to lose it. You might actually have some ability to do some water activities in Harford County.
I think the biggest surprise for a lot of my clients is how much more social they become after they leave the city. It's so much easier to just hop in your car and drive over to a friend's house or grab dinner than it is in the city, where you're like afraid to lose your parking spot and you're kind of isolated to Canton. You're not leaving your neighborhood, because why would you? You have everything right there.
Right.
Being in the county is giving you that commutability. It's getting you out and about. You're out doing things with other families and friends, playing sports, grabbing dinner. I think that's been the biggest surprise for a lot of my clients. They actually feel like they didn't lose that.
On a personal aspect, it's like we're always looking for something new to do. So we're always, checking the blogs, checking the local event calendars, because there's something new popping up essentially every week, every weekend. There's just so much more to do, especially once you get outside of your little bubble and explore what the county has to offer.
So text tour if you want to explore. We made a little escape the city tour for you that has a bunch of places that you can check out around the city in these counties. That way, if you're thinking about making a move, you could get a feel for what your lifestyle would look like there. I think that's really important when you're making a big move like that. So if you're moving out of the city and you're headed north, these are two great options in terms of counties for you, but they're not the only options. So we'd love to talk to you about what would work best for you and your lifestyle when you're ready to start considering a move out of the city into the county.
I'm Mike Mislinski.
I'm Kelly Schuett. Follow along for more tips on how to move in and around Baltimore and all of the latest updates by liking or subscribing.